My child, this is the second entry in the second video. Again, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to give you pieces of advice and wisdom that I've learned over time. And this is all about the difference between intelligence and wisdom. Intelligence is knowing something. Wisdom is knowing how to apply it. And the reason why I will tell you to please strive for wisdom is not because education is not important, it is. But I've seen many educated people who have done nothing with that education. I've seen people without education do amazing things in their life. One of those examples is your grandfather. He came here at the age of 17 with $100 in his pocket from Portugal. He was just a child. And yet he grew up to be a fine man who created a business, who gave your father a great life. Through his sacrifice and his wisdom, he was able to pick your grandmother, who taught me great things and made me the man who I am. It's really important to understand that that is the power of wisdom. It is selfless. It is not for you, it's for everyone else, so you can live a good life. Intelligence is for yourself, and unfortunately, it's very limited as to how it can affect your life. You can know a lot, but not know how to use that information, or not understand the deeper meaning to things, meaning it's meaningless. It's really important for you to strive for it. Now I know the questions that you're going to have. How do I get wisdom? And unfortunately, son, that comes with time, that comes with a lot of work. Sometimes you can get it from other people, but sometimes you have to learn it yourself. You have to learn from the lessons life is giving you. You have to understand that it is not the world that deserves, or you deserve something from the world, but you have to give back to the world. And it starts with you understanding that everything that happens in your life is responsible and in your hands. Any bad thing, any good thing, ends and begins with you. And if you can chalk up all the good things to someone else, maybe the benefits and the blessings in life, that's fine. But the things that go wrong in your life have to be your fault, because you're the only one that can fix it. Now, going forward with intelligence and wisdom, I want to depart to you a story that was very powerful for me. And that is the story of the two monks. Now, in Buddhism, the worst thing you can do is attach yourself to something. But in this particular sect of the monks, it was bad to touch women. You couldn't touch women in any way, shape, or form. And there were two monks, and they were walking down, and they saw a river. And there was this beautiful woman who didn't want to get her dress wet. So one of the monks, the older one, goes over, picks her up, and crosses the river with her, puts her down, does not mention a word to her, keeps on walking. And the other monk was flabbergasted by this, because at the end of the day, he had broken a very important rule, which was not to touch a woman. And he thought that maybe the older monk was going to inform or impart some type of wisdom over to him to explain or to ameliorate what had just happened. But he didn't. And after 1 mile of walking, 2 miles, 3 miles, he couldn't anymore, and he starts exploding on the other monk. And he asks, "Why did you touch that woman?" And the monk just stared at him and said, "Oh, you're still carrying her? I put her down 3 miles ago." This story is very important because it is the difference between intelligence and wisdom. The monk knew, or had the knowledge, that you are not supposed to touch women, but the older monk understood why. And it was because of lust and the ways that a person could fall into attachment. And so he understood that it was okay to help with pure compassion, as long as it did not open the door to deeper attachment. And yet, not understanding that, the younger monk fell into the trap of basically doing everything through the letter of the law. Son, I need you to work with the spirit of the law. It is more powerful and is much more potent when you understand the deeper meaning of things. And you do them not because they're stated in some sacred book, but understanding the reasons why they are there. And that brings me to the ideas of tradition and religion. They're sacred for a reason, son. They're not all nonsense. And I'm speaking from an agnostic point of view. I do not inherently believe in any one religion. I believe all of them have very powerful lessons for you. And I am telling you to please look at all of them and understand that they have very powerful parts of great wisdom. And you need to figure that out for your own life and how you will apply it to your own life. And throughout these videos, I will be going through some of these wisdoms that I've learned. But it's important to understand that you can't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Prayer may sound silly. How can you ask an almighty being to change his mighty plan for you? Very egotistical. But in truth, what prayer is just a rudimentary form of meditation. It is taking time and sitting down and contemplating where you are and what you're doing. It's a very powerful thing to do, whether you pray or whether you meditate. And this is what it is. These are wisdom that is imparted over generations to us. So we do the right thing. We have to understand why we do it. It's very important. Okay? Now, stating that, I also want to talk to you about the idea of selflessness when it comes to wisdom. Why is it selfless? And I have to tell you another story. I will be doing that a lot. Now, there's a very powerful story in the Bible in which God comes to Solomon. Solomon was a great king known for his wisdom. And God says to Solomon that he's willing to give him one wish. He tells him he can give him all the power, he can give him wealth, he can give him notoriety throughout history. And the only thing that Solomon asks for is wisdom. And God not only gave him wisdom, but gave him every one of the other things that he had mentioned. Because God understood that wish was a selfless one. Wisdom is not for you. It is for everyone around you. When you are wise, you can be compassionate with others. When you are wise, you know how to help others through very difficult situations. When you are wise, you can make everyone around you richer. And that is why I want you to strive for that. Thank you, son, for listening to me, and remember, thank you for existing.